Budget 2025 was barely tabled when Nova Scotia Conservative MP Chris D'Entremont resigned from caucus, defecting to the Liberals in a stunning blow to Pierre Poilievre and his party. The huge move gives the Carney government one more vote to get this budget passed through Parliament and potentially avoid an election. Chris D'Entremont is now the Liberal MP for the Nova Scotia riding of Acadie-Annapolis, and he joins me now this Sunday for his first broadcast interview since Tuesday's floor crossing. Good morning, Chris D'Entremont.
Good morning to you.
You have sat as a Conservative politician, federally and provincially, for about 2 decades now. You were a provincial cabinet minister. After all that time, how do you explain to folks in your riding that actually you've changed your colors? You're a Liberal now.
Well, I mean, situational. We get elected to represent the best issues of our ridings as people come forward. And sometimes we have to make decisions that are hard and tough. And I felt that in this particular case, it was better to be a part of the government caucus than it was to be sitting in the opposition. And I'm hoping as time goes on that the constituents in Acadie-Annapolis will understand that decision.
You had that private meeting that we have reported on with the Prime Minister. Was that what sealed the decision for you, or had you already made up your mind going into that conversation?
No, I mean, this has been a thought for a long time, basically from the election, hearing from longtime supporters that wouldn't support me anymore because of the leadership style of the Conservative Party. So, I've been thinking about it a lot. And, I think people saw that I wasn't being utilized within my party, and they were reaching out. And when I had that meeting with the Prime Minister, because I really hadn't had the opportunity to meet Mr. Carney before, that did help a lot in making it clearer of what I wanted to do. But I tell you, what really made it, what sealed the deal is when I got yelled at when this became part of the news on Tuesday.
Okay, there is a lot to unpack there. I certainly want to hear about the yelling in a second, but I want to be clear. You said you weren't being utilized, or people were telling you weren't being utilized with the Conservatives. Did the Liberals suggest that there's more opportunity on their side of the floor, that you could be a contender for a cabinet spot, for example?
No, absolutely not. I think it was just looking at the mechanisms that they have. They would talk about, the caucus that we have here in Nova Scotia, the way caucus worked, what kind of input caucus was able to have in developing the budget. Those are all things that really don't happen over in the Conservative caucus. And quite honestly, this is a time in Canada where we should be really looking at building and trying to find ways to, counteract tariffs and everything else that's going on in the world. It's a time to work together. And, over the summer, I didn't see an opportunity, or I didn't see a move to work together. All I saw was more division and more anger, and I wasn't going to be a part of that anymore.
Conservative MP discusses Chris D'Entremont's switch to Liberal Party. A Conservative MP just went on record discussing Chris D'Entremont's defection to the Liberals, and the talking points are absolutely fascinating. Damage control, spin, and thinly veiled frustration are all on full display as the Conservatives try to explain away why one of their own just publicly declared Pierre Poilievre's leadership style too negative and walked straight into Mark Carney's caucus. It is political theater at its finest, and the cracks in Conservative unity are showing. Welcome to Canada Newsletter, where we break down what the Conservatives are saying about the defection that has their party reeling. Before we dive into what this Conservative MP actually said about D'Entremont's floor crossing and why the party's response reveals more than they probably intended, hit that subscribe button and click the notifications bell. You will not want to miss how this political crisis continues to unfold. Right, let us get into this properly revealing conversation. Conservative MPs have been scrambling to respond to Chris D'Entremont's defection, and their explanations range from dismissive to defensive. The official line from Conservative leadership is that D'Entremont left because he was bitter about not getting the Deputy Speaker role, a position he held in the last Parliament but lost to Conservative MP Tom Kamik. It is a convenient narrative that reduces D'Entremont's decision to personal grievance rather than legitimate criticism of Poilievre's leadership. But D'Entremont himself has pushed back hard against that characterization, saying the Deputy Speaker issue was an awkward time but not the reason he left. He explicitly cited Poilievre's negative approach to politics and said he no longer felt aligned with the Conservative Party's direction. When Conservative MPs discuss D'Entremont's switch, they are walking a tightrope. They need to discredit him enough to minimize the political damage, but not so much that it looks like they are attacking a former colleague out of spite. The messaging has been consistent. D'Entremont is a disloyal opportunist who broke promises to his constituents. Conservative House Leader Andrew Scheer said D'Entremont let his own personal grievances get in the way of his commitment to his constituents. Party Whip Chris Warkentin echoed that sentiment, claiming D'Entremont betrayed voters who sent him to Parliament as a conservative. That framing is designed to make D'Entremont look selfish whilst avoiding any acknowledgement that his criticisms of Poilievre's leadership might be valid. But here is the problem with that strategy. D'Entremont is not the only conservative questioning Poilievre's approach. He told reporters there are other conservative MPs, in the same boat, who may also defect to the Liberals. 2 days after D'Entremont crossed the floor, Edmonton MP Matt Jeanroux resigned, and sources told CBC he had been in talks with Carney about defecting. So the Conservatives can dismiss D'Entremont as a bitter outlier all they want, but the pattern suggests deeper discontent within the caucus. When Conservative MPs discuss D'Entremont's switch, they are really defending Poilievre's leadership style, insisting it is not the problem. But if more MPs leave, that narrative collapses entirely. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, this has been Canada Newsletter.